Hi everyone. Yes, I'm sweating because it's still 33 degrees in Melbourne. Our summer can't complain, put it that way. Summer has been on point and actually reminds me of when I was growing up. This is actually how hot our summers were, especially with the stormy conditions. I've also trying to put my phone in the ring light. I think the phone adapter's broken because I've tried everything. It worked the first time and now I can't get it back in. So we got light, so I've got a shiny face. Okay, so I'm going to talk about something frivolous today because I've done a couple of serious posts and I hope you get on board and share it, and also have an Aussie mate that you know that might be able to translate for you. So I've been watching a lot of movies lately because there's not a lot of shows that I like watching at the moment. I watched the 3 Equalizer movies. Technically there's 4 if you count Man on Fire, but I haven't watched that one back yet. Forgot how good they all were, except the last one's probably a bit more violent than what it needs to be. So yeah, great movies. I was hoping to put it in the ring light so I didn't have to hold it, but anyway, off track. So while I was doing my social media scrolling, a suggestion came up, or lots of comments came up about a particular movie. I never heard of it. But going by the comments and going by the trailer that I saw on YouTube, I actually said to my husband, this is actually probably worth a look. It's actually called Getting Square. No G, because it's an Aussie movie. Getting Square. I'll explain Getting Square in a moment, but the movie is absolutely hilarious. And if you have not had a good belly laugh with tears coming out of your eyes, get on it. It's worth the watch. As I said, you will need an Aussie translator nearby because if you don't speak, or if you're not Australian and haven't lived around Australians for a very long time, it's going to be hard to watch, but still funny. It actually has David Wenham is one of the main characters. If you know Lord of the Rings, he's Faramir. My husband said he didn't get enough of a role in Lord of the Rings according to the book. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you can chime in. Sam Worthington, who you all know in Avatar and some other movies. There's also, like, if you're an Aussie, you'll know the other actors that are in there. They're pretty common. It's even got Dave Gray. For those, again, that are Australian, he was a game show host in the 70s and 80s. He's passed away now, but he's actually in the movie as well, plays a small role. So it is an old movie, but not dated at all. Because as I said, it's funny. I tried to share the clip of the courtroom scene on my YouTube account. So if you haven't got to that, go have a look, or you can just do Getting Square courtroom scene as a part 1 and a part 2. And if you only watch that, that's all, that's funny. That will make you laugh in stitches anyway, if you kind of get it. So Getting Square, the word square in Aussie is getting straight, getting clean, obeying the law. It's a comment my husband often makes on my person because he says that I'm very square in that I do pretty much what I'm told for the most part. When I'm told, because I was raised kind of that way. That's kind of changed a little bit, but I won't cross the lights if it's a red man, things like that, because I just base it on my surroundings, environment. I'm not saying I never cross with a red man, but I'm less likely to cross with a red man. So things like that. So that's what square means. It means clean, straight, no law breaking. So in this, he's getting square. He wants to get clean off his substance abuse, which, so it's kind of a good message. But he's a dumb criminal. I'm not going to give anything away by what I'm saying. So you kind of actually have a bit of an empathy for him. The David Wenham character, Johnny Spitz, I think his name is. Anyway, so there's a sequel coming out. If you are in Melbourne and you know Nova Cinema, apparently the sequel is actually showing there. We're going to it on Friday night, and David Wenham is actually doing a question and answer. I've actually told my husband he's not allowed to do any Lord of the Rings questions because that's not what we're there for. And let's talk about David Wenham's character, Johnny Spitz. So in Australia, we have we have references to certain people that are not necessarily complimentary, although they may take him as a compliment. So bogans, drongos. David Wenham as Johnny Spitz is a full-on drongo. So if you don't know what that means, give the clip a watch. I don't know why my video is not moving with my lips, but anyway. He's a full-on, he's what we refer to as a drongo. Yeah, I can't really describe a drongo. It's just an Australian thing. I don't know if there's a similar vocabulary for that type of person in any other country. And then we have what's called a bogan, which is one less than a drongo. But someone can be both bogan and drongo, so that gets confusing. But a bogan, so I actually watched another movie that I haven't watched a long time ago, and I don't particularly like, I'm not a big fan of Nicolas Cage. It's just more the storyline I was watching. So I was watching the first Ghost Rider, which obviously Nicolas Cage is in as Johnny Blaze. Disclaimer, I am not calling Rebel Wilson a bogan at all. She is absolutely not. But if you YouTube this clip where she talks to the journalist about what she saw about the skull going on fire and everything, that is what we Aussies would call a bogan. That's probably the best description I can give to anyone trying to figure out what I'm talking about. Even though I think she's trying to be a bit goth, but to me, she comes across as a bogan. Speaks like a bogan, looks like a bogan, she's a bogan. And again, if you have an Aussie mate, maybe they can help explain it or show you pictures. If you ever watched a Paul Hogan show, his mate with the life-saving cap, can't remember his name actually, and I think he's passed away. And again, I'm not calling him as a person a drongo, but his character was a drongo. So yeah, like if you look at the young ones, Neil with the long brown hair was a drongo. Vivian, on the other hand, even though he was punky, he would probably be boganish because of it's in their mannerisms, it's the way they speak, it's the way that they dress. It's just very, yeah, to an Aussie, we know the difference. But to someone that's not Aussie, you're probably not going to know the difference. And then there's Ocker. So Ocker isn't how we look, it's how we sound. So I can actually say this on my person. I have been called more than once someone that sounds Ocker. Now, I actually take it as an insult that I sound like that. However, what that means is you literally sound Aussie, like like an American from the South has that drawl, or an English person from Cockney has that sound. A knocker is sort of the equivalent. It's a sound. It just means that we've grown up here. I mean, my parents were English, so I do find it weird that out of everyone I am labelled an Ocker, but I get it. It's probably the way that I've developed my sound. And speaking about sound and Australian and accents, the reason why no Americans or anyone can do an Aussie accent is because we don't actually have an accent. I actually watched a documentary a few years ago that talked about this, and it's a scientific linguistic fact that Australians don't actually have an accent. We have a sound, unlike South Africa and I think even New Zealand. They all have an accent, which is why when A-list stars like Kylie Minogue, Chris Hemsworth, Hugh Jackman, all of those, when they leave the country of Australia and they go to England and stay there for a while, or go to America and stay there for a while, they actually they take on that other person or that other country's accent and lose their own. And that's why, like, if you listen to Kylie Minogue, she would sound to what we would call posh. Again, posh is like very well educated, lots of money, you know, just it's another type of person. Some people would, you know, I'm not going to use that word, but posh is like it's what, you know, people of Reigate may sound like. So so they have this kind of, let's say, more educated sound to their voices. They lose the Australian sound, not necessarily altogether. It kind of still, if you listen to them speak, it kind of mixes in. And I've actually seen a sample. I don't know if I'm going to watch the movie because I love the original Mad Max, and it's one of those ones. I did watch the one with Charlize Theron, and I wasn't a big fan, so I'm not sure if I'm going to watch the one with Chris Hemsworth. However, in hearing that, in hearing Chris Hemsworth speak in Furiosa, he's Aussie. He's like full on Aussie. Like, I can kind of hear it, but if I watched the whole movie, I'd probably pick up that there's still probably some American in there as well. So, which is why it's really, really difficult for anyone other than even an actor, even though they're well trained and they go to all these prestigious schools, why they actually can't do our sound, because it's not an accent, it's a sound. And whenever me and my hubby hear someone try to do the Australian sound, it makes us squirm because it's awful, and it doesn't even sound. I don't even know what the sound is. It probably sounds more South African than it does Australian. Yeah, so so there's some Aussie info there for you. Like I said, watch Getting Square, and then watch the sequel, or watch the sequel and then watch the first one. But if you want a good belly laugh, I have not laughed like that in a very long time. And obviously the acting helps with that, and David Wyndham's a very good actor to be able to play the character that he does. The sequel is basically, he comes back from disappearing. I'm not giving any away, because basically it's the whole thing about the movie. He wants to get away to get clean. He goes away, and then the sequel is he returns, and the chaos that ensues with that. And if you're going to watch it, probably watch it with either subtitles or an Aussie mate who can help you explain, because there's a lot of slang that I can't really explain. And when we talk about Australian slang, I was thinking about it earlier when I was doing this video. We just talk it. Like, if I have to think about the slang that we use, it's actually I only notice it when I hear someone else talk about it, or if I say something to my husband, like, you know, yeah, nah, right? That can mean no, can mean yes, or nah, yeah. Like, yeah, nah, all right. So if you stick an all right in there, it's going to be the yes. If you go, yeah, nah, that's a no. If you go, nah, yeah, again, depends what you put at the end of that nah, yeah, and who you're speaking to, whether they get the context of what you're actually saying. That's probably one of the easiest ones to explain. There's, we have a very subtle sub-talk, but when we all get together, we're all talking it, and people from the outside are like, what are you saying? I don't understand a word you're saying. You are not speaking English. And it's true. It's a form of English, but it's not English in that sense. So please get on it, watch the movies, have a laugh, tell me what you think. I'm going to see the sequel. I'll let you know. And I'm also going to go see Agatha Christie, because it's my anniversary weekend this weekend. I've been married for 32 years. And I still shake my head at how that's even happened with my personality and a lot of things that I've gone through. If you watch my videos, you know what I'm talking about. And we're also going to go see Agatha Christie play And Then There Was None. So I'm actually really looking forward to that, because I can't actually remember the storyline. So that's a good thing. Because I've seen most, if not all, Agatha Christie movies at least 3 times. And I've read the books, probably the same amount. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit more fun, as I said, and I will hopefully figure out my ring light to hold my phone so I'm not holding it in my hand, and hopefully get these videos out a little bit more frequently. And I've gone under 15 minutes, so I still hope I've got your attention. Like, follow, share, all those things. Appreciate it. Thank you.